Assuming that you need confirmation that Kia has limited any association with the modest and merry picture it once depicted, you just need to take a quick look at its forthcoming EV9 model. The sharp, forcing all-electric SUV has beaten any semblance of Land Wanderer and smooth Swedish seven-seat experts, Volvo, unexpectedly, with the arrival of a lavish Goliath that happily betrays the gas-powered motor. Obviously, this push-up market hasn't worked out by accident, more or less, for Kia. It's required quite a while for the organization to recruit probably the best planners on the planet, redesign its marking, and pull together on state-of-the-art tech. However, the South Korean brand bet on Jolt early, throwing the dice with its long-standing Soul EV and e-Niro, yet ostensibly raising a ruckus around town with its new EV6. A vehicle that orders a retail cost of $48,700 for the most fundamental model in the States, and $44,495 in the UK. That kind of cash for a Kia was only incredible quite a while back. However, presently the EV9 is stretching the limits much further, requesting $54,900, $64,995 for section into the club. In any case, how? Essentially, this is the most mechanically progressed vehicle Kia has at any point fabricated, pulling out all the stops on both actual height, yet in addition the tech that is packed inside its 5M long edge. Supporting the EV9 is a 9998 kWh battery pack that powers either a solitary engine and back-tire drive models, gloating a 200 bhp 150 kW result, or twin engines in an all-wheel drive variation. These reach clinchers, push power up to 378 dBp 283 kW, and a colossal 700 Nm of force. Official figures express that those RWD renditions can accomplish 349 miles on a solitary charge, while the more intense and thirstier AWD models will hit 313 miles. Be that as it may, 800V superquick charging innovation implies each variant of the EV9 can be re-energized from 10 to 80% in just 24 minutes, when connected to a 350 kWh powerful outlet. In any case, best of luck finding one of those. I got my first involved with Kia's EV9 in quite a while home nation of South Korea, where a best-in-class 6-seat model was dig for the afternoon. In this arrangement, the inside is much the same as voyaging business class on an airplane, with 4 enormous individual seats spread north of 2 columns in the back. The center seats can be turned through 180 degrees, so the back tenants can visit to one another, while all seats basically lay level on the off chance that anybody likes a nap. Besides, there are cup holders and USB-C focuses in abundance for charging gadgets in a hurry. Moreover, Kia has tossed in vehicle-to-stack V2L usefulness, so the EV9's immense battery packs can control everything from common handheld contraptions to a lot bigger things, similar to electric barbecues and outside projectors for those taking off into the wild. Kia says that it is additionally going to extend its bi-directional charging capacities, with vehicle-to-home, V2H, vehicle-to-building, V2B, and vehicle-to-framework, V2G, set to be presented as discretionary redesigns from now on. Front and center, both driver and front seat traveler, are blessed to receive Kia's all-encompassing wide showcase, which joins a 12.3-inch bunch show, 5-inch portion show, and 12.3-inch infotainment framework show. The screen on the left is a customary driver's scramble, however completely customizable with a huge range of vehicle data, accessible at the bit of a directing wheel-mounted button. The screen on the right deals with infotainment and other solace, includes that a front traveler should communicate with. In the center, the more modest screen is devoted to warming and ventilation, meaning it's generally there assuming you want it. There is likewise a fresh head-up show that repeats nav guidelines or cautions of looming speed cutoff points, and so forth. Obviously, loads of usefulness is planned to the various touchscreens. However, Kia has executed a few vital actual buttons for things like volume and temperature inside the lodge. Likewise, there are a few pleasant haptic buttons that are incorporated into the scramble material underneath the infotainment screen and that radiate a decent latent tech feel to it. On the off chance that you don't fancy nudging things with your fingers, you can constantly saddle the force of voice, as Kia has developed its discourse acknowledgement programming, so you can now utilize more normal language. It's not exactly the Kia man-made intelligence partner that the brand as of late expressed will come in 2024. yet it's sufficiently basic to flick to the radio or cool the lodge down with a couple of verbal orders. As you would envision, the driving experience is reasonably extravagant. The quiet from the electric powertrain impeccably supplementing the smooth ride that shields from any brutality experienced from the street underneath. It's a major, weighty vehicle, so don't anticipate lively execution. However, this reach-beating double-engine model positively moves. Hammer the right foot and it gets paced stunningly, with just the right amount of fake motor commotion, which sounds like a cross between a 90s F1 vehicle and a space transport, adding to the vibe of speed increase. The model I drove was additionally fitted with brilliant rubbing seats, which structure part of the driver help framework and which kick in when the vehicle recognizes sluggishness or slumping. At least a time or two, I was blessed to receive an off-the-cuff lower back rub, where the EV9 felt my stance was showing sluggishness, albeit that was presumably only the stream slack. Kia's EV9 is Hyundai Engine Gathering's most memorable vehicle to fiddle with on request includes through OTA refreshes. It's a bone of conflict among certain purchasers, who feel that all choices ought to be on the table at season of procurement, yet the framework permits existing clients to add specific elements down the line. Here, it is restricted to Expressway Driving Pilot, HDP, which is just accessible in specific business sectors that permit contingent Level 3 independent driving, which is where the vehicle can go with informed choices and follow up on them out and about. During testing, this was tried by utilizing the dynamic journey control, which takes data from the inherent sat-nav framework to consequently dial back when it knows a speed camera or speed trap is drawing nearer. It will then, at that point, naturally accelerate a short time later, regardless of whether that speed is an overabundance of the implemented nearby cutoff. Other downloadable choices from the Kia interface store incorporate Remote Shrewd Leaving Help 2, which empowers drivers to stop and leave their vehicles remotely utilizing a matched cell phone. Furthermore, a lighting example choice causes the crazy LEDs at the front of the vehicle to play out a progression of little moves when the vehicle is left. It's every one of the A-piece oddity for the present. However, the thought is that Kia continually adds to this assortment of extra usefulness, permitting the client to update over the long run. The other advantage of the EV9 being continually associated is the expansion of live data, for example, traffic reports, and, surprisingly, the area, expenses, and accessibility of neighboring EV charging stations. One piece of tech that dazzled me subsequent to doing a little digging was the inherent vehicle wash mode, which can be initiated from the infotainment framework and which readies the vehicle for programmed vehicle washes. Enact it, and the side mirrors overlap in. The programmed windshield wipers are switched off. Every one of the windows are shut and the mechanical entryway handles, which easily slide out when you approach the EV9 with a key, slide once more into position. Electric vehicles have demonstrated the extraordinary leveler for thriving auto producers, and Kia's EV9 is one more huge bet for the brand, pushing the asking value up to levels that will see it rival any semblance of Volvo, Audi, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and even reach Meanderer when it at last send-offs an all-electric variant. Be that as it may, this dare to actually begin once again with its electric contributions is by all accounts paying off, as this is one of the most amazingly agreeable, exceptionally reasonable and tech-loaded electric SUVs discounted.